Hi, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Laurel. I'm Laurel, and in this video we're going to take a look at solving right triangles. When you're asked to solve a right triangle, you're being asked to find missing sides or angles when you're given usually two pieces of information about that right triangle. And in order to do that, you're going to use your three main trig functions. We won't be using the reciprocal functions at all. There's no need. It's much easier using sine, cosine, and tangent. Remember how they are defined. Remember how to find them. You will also use your right triangle theorem, which we talked about in a previous video. And that theorem is the sum of the squares of the two sides will equal the square of the hypotenuse. So if this side is A and this side is B, A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. The other thing that we're going to use is the fact that in any triangle, all angles must add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, in a right triangle, because this angle is 90 degrees, then these two angles must add up to 90 degrees. So the sum of those two angles in a right triangle will always be 90. And of course this is 90 because it's not a right triangle if it isn't 90 degrees. So let's take a look at how we find missing values for sides and angles when we are given some values. All right, when you're asked to solve a right triangle, you typically have two pieces of information given to you other than the fact that you have a right angle there. One of those pieces of information has to be a side. So at least one side and either another side or an angle. So in this case, we're given this angle and this side. And what we are going to do first is name all of our sides in relation to the angle that we're given. So we know that the side opposite the right angle is always going to be the hypotenuse. So this side is our hypotenuse. In terms of this angle, the side opposite is going to be this side, and the side adjacent to the angle is this side. So we can start by finding the opposite side or the adjacent side, doesn't matter which. If I choose to find the opposite side, I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to determine then, with the information I'm given, with this angle and this side, I'm finding that side. I'm using opposite and hypotenuse, which means I need to use my sine function. So you narrow it down to the two sides you're going to be using, and then from that you determine which trig function you're going to use. So we know that the sine of any angle is defined as the ratio of the side opposite the angle to the hypotenuse. So we're going to use that and we're going to plug in the information we know. We know our angle is 40 degrees. We know our side opposite, we don't know that, so we can call it an X or an A or a B, whatever you want to call it. And we know the hypotenuse is 15. So as long as we only have one unknown, we can solve this. In order to solve for A, I don't like to see students start calculating right away, because if you calculate sine of 40 degrees, then you're going to either a lot of students will round it off before they use it for further calculations and punch it back in. To me, it's not a very efficient or accurate way of doing the calculations. I like to do all the manipulation and then just in one fell swoop do my calculations on my calculator. So I'm going to isolate A instead of finding this value. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to multiply both sides by 15. So 15 times the sine of 40 degrees will equal A. Now that I've got A isolated on my calculator, some of you are going to be most of you will be able to type it in 15 times the sine of 40, as long as your calculator's in degree mode. Some of you might have to find the sine of 40 by putting the angle in and then pressing the sine function and then multiplying by 15. So determine on your calculator which way it works for you. You should get a value of 9.64. So in real life, if we were working with actual units, if this, for example, was centimeters, this would be centimeters. It's going to be the exact same unit. If this was inches, this would be inches. Now, to find this other side, I can do one of two things. I can either use the right triangle theorem, because now I have two sides of my right triangle, but because this isn't an exact value, it's kind of messy. I might not choose that. I might choose to use my cosine function. I typically try to use my known values as much as possible rather than calculated values, because if I would have made a mistake there, then if I use that value to find another value, it's going to also be wrong. So I often go back to what was given. It's also cleaner to go back to what's given because they're nice, clean values, 15 and 40 degrees. So to find, so this we called A, this one we'll call B. To find B, I'm using the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. So the trig function that uses those is the cosine. So we know cosine of an angle is equal to the ratio of the side adjacent to the angle to the hypotenuse. So I plug in what I know. My angle is 40 degrees. The adjacent side I'm calling B, and my hypotenuse is 15. So I multiply both sides by 15 to solve for B. When you calculate that value, you should get 11.49. So now we know all of the sides of our right triangle. We know this angle. The only thing that we don't know is this angle, but that's fairly easy to find because we know that the sum of those two angles is 90 degrees. So this angle here must be 50 degrees. So that's how we would solve a right triangle. Typically, you're not going to be asked to find everything. You might initially when you're learning this, but a lot of the problems that you're going to see require you just to find one value. But I just want to show how you can find all missing values of your right triangle. All right, let's try some more examples. You're going to notice that I'm drawing these triangles differently every single time, because in the real world, they are going to be drawn different ways. They're not always going to be oriented the same way. So I want you to get comfortable with it and understand that it doesn't matter how the triangle is drawn. What you focus on is the angle that you're dealing with and the sides in relation to that angle. So in this situation, here's our right triangle. We know right away that this is the hypotenuse. But we're not given the hypotenuse and we're not asked to find it. So we're not going to be using any trig functions that use the hypotenuse. Instead, we're given this side, this angle, and we're asked to find this side. So we're going to define these two sides in relation to the angle that we're given. Not in relation to the unknown angle, but in relation to 65 degrees. So the side opposite would be this side, and this is the side adjacent. Remember, hypotenuse, even though it's adjacent to our angle, it's across from our right angle, so it's always the hypotenuse. We're not worried about that. We don't care about it. We don't know it. We don't want to know it. We just are dealing with those two sides. So the trig function that deals with the adjacent side and the opposite side is the tangent function. So write it down just to remind yourself. Tangent is defined as the ratio of the side opposite the angle to the side adjacent to the angle. Then plug in the values that you know. We know our angle is 65 degrees. The opposite side we don't know. The adjacent side we know is 10. And now we solve for B. We're going to multiply both sides by 10. So B will equal 10 times the tangent of 65 degrees. When you calculate that on your calculator, you should get 21.45. And that's all you need to do in this example because they were only asking for this side. They weren't asking for this angle or this side. All right, let's do some more. In our next example, we're asked to find our angle beta. So again, we're going to start off by defining the sides in terms of that particular angle. We know that the angle across from right angle is always the hypotenuse. And then this side is adjacent to our angle that we're going to be working with. We don't need this side, we're not given that value and we're not asked to find it. So we're only interested in the trig function that uses adjacent and hypotenuse side, and that would be cosine. So define your function. The cosine of an angle is defined as the ratio of the side adjacent to the angle divided by the hypotenuse. So in this case, we don't know the angle. We know the adjacent side is 25. The hypotenuse is 35. So this is a situation where we're going to have to use our inverse trig function. We know the ratio and we're trying to find the angle. We talked about that in the last video. To find beta, we're going to find the inverse cos of this ratio. So the inverse cos function is the function above the cosine function, and if you're not familiar with that, just take a look at the previous video. And when you calculate that, you should get an angle of 44.4 degrees. Okay, try it on your calculator, make sure you get the same value. Let's try one more example. Okay, in this right triangle, we're asked to find length C, which happens to be the hypotenuse. We're given this angle and this side is opposite the angle that we're given. So the trig function that uses hypotenuse and the opposite side is the sine function. So I'll write it out. And then again, we plug in the values that we know. We know our angle is 42 degrees. We're given the side opposite is 20, and we're finding the hypotenuse, which we're calling C. In order to solve this equation, I'm going to do it in a couple of steps. I don't want my fraction here, so I'm going to multiply both sides by C. So C times the sine of 42 degrees will equal 20. And then I want to isolate C, so I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 42 degrees. You don't have to, take two steps to do it. You can just go straight from here to here, but I just didn't want to lose anybody. Okay, now you can calculate that on your calculator. 20 divided by the sine of 42 degrees should give you a value of 29.89. Now I've been rounding off my sides to two decimal places. I've been rounding off my angles to 1 decimal place. I just chose those values arbitrarily. So you'd have to pay attention to what you're required to do in the specific examples that you're doing. So you might get instructions what decimal place to round off to, or you might have to be concerned about significant digits and use that to determine how many places you round off to. But I don't want to get into those things. I'm just rounding off my angle to 1 decimal place and my sides to 2 decimal places just because I felt like it. So don't worry about that. You might have more specific instructions to follow in your homework. So that it concludes the first video on solving right triangles. This is just right triangles in general, where you're given the triangle and you're asked to find missing values on that triangle. The next video, we're going to actually look at applications of the right triangle and how we solve the right triangle in those applications, how we interpret some of the language in those word problems. So practice just in general, get comfortable and confident with solving right triangles, and then let's move on to applied right triangles in the next video. All right, take care and see you then.